All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Distinct Authors Talking Publishing. We have a very special guest, a very dear friend of mine has joined us today, Caralyn Young. She is also one of the authors in our recently released Have a Merry Romantiques Christmas. Thank you so very much for joining us today, Caralyn. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm fine. I'm nervous. First live.
You will do awesome. It is going to be awesome. So do you have a glass of water or something handy?
No.
Okay. I think we can do this without, but yeah, glass of water is helpful. I find. So let's start off with a little bit about you, what your writing is, how long you've been writing, what your book in the anthology is all about, and we'll go from there.
I hope I don't ramble. I am a speculative fiction writer, which means I write multiple genres and usually two or more meshed. I've been pretending I'm a writer since I was about 6 years old. And I've been writing since the first grade, where I wrote and illustrated my first book about a unicorn, and my parents still have it in their filing cabinet. This is, as you said, my debut as myself. I am also MC Levitt. That's my main pen name, and I have some other books out. But I really, really wanted to try romance, straight up romance. Of course, a little suspense snuck in, thanks to Randy, because she's awesome. So we have Dead Body in Chance Encounter, a little bit of mischief, and it was a blast to write. It was just fun, and it's my style and something I enjoy reading. So yeah.
Awesome. So what was the biggest challenge for you in writing this particular book, A Chance Encounter?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I like alpha males and cold CEOs and things like that. And my leading man is protective, and he is a billionaire. And so he owns his own company. And I may or may not have added in a lot of he's a little hardcore. So my biggest issue was some betas came back saying he was kind of creepy and stalkerish, and my husband was like, are they calling me a stalker? Because he helped me with him, and I based him on my husband and how my husband was when he met me. So just I needed to bring the creep factor and make him lovable for people, and that was difficult. But with the critique group, it was so awesome because everybody explained to me, this is how it's stalkerish, this is how it's creepy, and y'all like helped me with phrasing and words, and I was able to bring that down. And so I love Brett.
Yes, he is. You know what? I was pleasantly surprised because I've read some of your other works, and I have to say you knocked it out of the park on this one. I really enjoyed it from start to finish. The little twists, the little turns. It was just a really fun read, even with the dead body. So I think you did fabulous on this one. What was the inspiration behind this one? Now I know that the anthology itself is 6 of us in our critique group has put this book together, and we are all 6 very different writers, 6 different genres, different styles, different voices. So what was the inspiration for this one? And do you really think that it kind of meshes with everyone else's in the anthology?
Okay, so I'm gonna forget part of your question because that's just how I am. My inspiration was, this was a holiday romance, a Christmas romance.
Yeah.
And I had actually started a romance for Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
And I wasn't feeling it. I couldn't finish it. And
Yeah.
then when you brought up, hey, let's do an anthology, I was like, maybe I could revive this. And just reading everybody else's styles and the romance and learning more of the finer nuances just kind of made it more alive. It was like I went back to it. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to write this and I want to totally start all over from the beginning. And I did. I have 7 different renditions of this one story.
Yeah.
4 of them from starting the anthology, and I had to throw everything out and start all over. The thing that I like about it is all of our books are so different. Like with yours is fantasy. I love fantasy. I love elves. I love magic, and I love the big twist. Um, each of our books, we each offer something completely different. So
Yeah.
that if a reader, if they want like light and fluffy and low angst, my book is perfect. I mean, I know there's some suspense and yeah, a dead body,
Yeah.
but everybody has something different to offer. And so I think that's what works fantastic in an anthology like this.
Awesome. So do you think that the time frame that we gave ourselves was a factor in the insanity of our group?
Um, oh gosh. I like the time frame we had. I'm
Yep.
sorry, my daughter's being dramatic in the background. She's had a rough day. um, I know a lot of people freaked out about the time frame. I'm in another anthology. I've submitted to a couple of other anthologies. I've, practiced with a couple of other people who wanted to put on anthologies. For me, this was perfect, and I'm hoping it was educational for the other ladies, because this is how it's kind of done in the real world. Your cat is pulling on a cord behind you.
Um, one moment. Sorry, everybody.
I worry something's gonna come crashing down.
No, it's actually screwed to the wall, so we should be
Ooh,
good.
then you're great. So for the time frame in the real world, you're given a deadline.
Yep.
And the contract was clear, it was precise, it was well written and well thought out. I loved everything in it, start to finish writing. um, I would say for this anthology, it's more for people who are intermediate. It's not
Yep.
for new writers who haven't written a book. And
Yep.
I am so blown away by our writers for
Wow.
jumping in and
Yes.
blowing my expectations away. I mean,
Yes.
the time frame, yeah, it was tight, it was quick. This is how it's done.
Yeah, and I think we have 3 of the books in this anthology that are making, or 3 authors that are making their debut. They have never published, they have never written and gone through the process. So this was a challenge, I think, in a lot of different ways, not just time frame for them, but learning the steps, learning how things worked, and
Oh
really
yeah.
understanding that the writing part of it is the easy part, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I really think that's the easy part, because once you're done that, you start doing your revisions and your edits, and you're doing your covers, and you're putting it all together, and you're formatting, and you're getting it out. And then of course, while you're doing all of that, you've got to be doing your marketing and your promotion. And I'm not sure, I hope that they had fun. I really do, but I do think that it was a bit of a challenge for everybody, because 6 weeks is not long in the
It's not.
stand-up in the span of time in publishing. It's really not a long time. And these aren't short pieces. These are longer pieces. These are yours
Yeah, by
is
accident.
20 plus K.
25 plus K. It
Okay.
wasn't the original plan like 10 to 15.
Yeah, 10 to 15 is the original plan that we had put in. And then of course we have a couple of people in our group who are word hogs, for want of a better description. And so, yeah, we kind of had to bump it up a little bit to up to 20,000. And I think we did fairly well. I think everyone did really, really amazing. I didn't see a lot of the negative stress or anything like that. I didn't see that. I think everybody really kind of took it as a learning curve and a challenge. And I mean,
Mhm.
goodness gracious, 3 novice writers in here who've never been published, and they wrote an entire book in 6 weeks. Blows my mind. It's like, you know, so it was a lot of fun. And the inspiration behind it was just absolutely amazing. The interest from the girls was just absolutely
Yes.
phenomenal. I was actually kind of surprised. I wasn't really thinking, when the idea was first put forward, I wasn't really kind of thinking, oh, well, everyone's just going to jump on that train and we're going to wind up with 6 authors. I was thinking, we might have 1, 2, 3, maybe. But no, we have 6, and it's full length. It's available in ebook. It's available in paperback as a pocketbook, and it's also available in large print. And I'm actually surprised at how many pages it is. Well, it's 6 books in one, right? I mean, you can't go wrong there.
Still, with most anthologies, the stories are really short. Well, in my experience.
Yeah.
So for 6 authors, yeah, it's a big book, and it's worth every penny.
Oh yeah, there's such an eclectic style in the covers, and we do have one main cover, and I will try and card it somewhere in the screen around here, so you can see it. And I will also have all of the buy links in the description box below. We are still waiting on the trade paperback to be available, but it should be available within the next few days as well. So if you haven't already, shameless plug, go and grab your copy of either the ebook or the prints. But yeah, and we did something really fun, I think. Not only does each book have its own individual and unique cover, but it's also autographed. Every single author in this anthology has signed it, which was amazing. I haven't seen that before, though. Have you?
I haven't seen it.
Well, it's just something special, I think. It's just, I am so proud of our ladies that pulled this off. So I know that there are other works in process. We all have different projects that we are working on. You just re-released a book that you had done as MC Levitt recently, called A
Destiny's Call, yeah.
Destiny's Call. Yes, I am loving it. I'm loving it. I will say
Yay!
that. Well done.
Thank
And
you.
love the cover. Love, love, love the cover. It is such a pretty cover, and it just fits the book, I think. It's just amazing. So other than that, what's next? What have you got on the back burner, so to speak?
Thanks to the critique group and all of the love and encouragement, I am working on one of my adult books to publish under my adult pen name next year. And I have 2 books from 2 series that I am publishing under my main pen name next year. And I hope to maybe get 2 or 3 of my billionaire romances published under my name. But I need critiques. I just cannot stress how amazing the group is, and the critiques and all the feedback and the growth, and I just love it. So that's what's up and coming.
Oh, awesome. So what, now we have been a group, we've been a critique group for almost a year and 9 months. We originally had
Oh
started
my
a much
gosh.
larger group, and then it's you know, we kind of had some people that had left the group, and now we are a much smaller group. We meet twice a week, and go over critiques, except for right now we're all on a kind of a brain break, which is very, very needed. But what's the challenge for you? Like, I mean, I know when I put something up for critique, I know I'm going into it with the mindset of, okay, these ladies are going to give me brutal answers. They're going to give me, you know, they're going to give me that feedback that I really need. I need to be open-minded, and I'm going to bring the red, you know, the 30 gallons of red ink with me to the next meeting, because I'm all constantly expecting that. But do you find that that's a challenge, you know, communicating with, you know, 6 or 7 other ladies who are different voices, different styles, different ages, different genres, because it's such an eclectic group, right? Where we are, I don't think that there's a genre that's not represented, honestly.
Um, Actually, I'm so glad that the group has shrunk over time. It's been amazing. I was nervous before because of all the different personality types. A lot of people, they came in like, I know exactly what I'm doing kind
Yeah,
of attitude. And I think those of us who are here now, that it's pared down to is, I'm good at this. I don't know this. I'm terrible at this. I'm here to learn and grow.
yeah,
Um, and it's kind of, I've seen confidence. Okay, so like with you and Melissa, with Regency and historical, I have learned tons. I'm like, I've read some. I couldn't tell you what's accurate, inaccurate in each one, all the little nuances.
yeah.
But from the critiques, like, I'll point something out, and then y'all will be like, in that time frame, no. Let me tell you about this. You're thinking this time frame. No, in this time frame, they could show their ankles. In this time frame, no, that was too sexy. And so it's just, everybody's like super patient and awesome. And I have nothing but awesome things to say about the ladies in the group, because everybody, they're, again, patient and kind. And when I get something wrong, it's like, oh no, okay, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
This is how it is. This is what you're looking for. This is, you know, and then y'all, like you've provided links. Oh, well, you can find the information here.
yeah,
Um, and then like Randy, I apparently talk funny and write funny because of, I'm from Colorado,
yeah.
okay? And we say gosh, and like and some of my my patterns in my books are a little immature, but Randy, like, she goes in and she goes, okay, well, let me tell you how people in this situation would talk. And she like totally helps me, and she talks me through it and explains it, and the speech is relaxed and it makes the segments relaxed, and just
Yeah,
everybody, the personality, it works, it's
yeah,
cohesive, it's amazing. and
yeah.
and just learning times, it's just awesome.
It is. I don't think, honestly, I'm actually a little surprised, because I've been in critique groups before, and I've had really good experiences, but I've also had experiences where I've gone to the first meeting and it's been like, okay, I'm just going to quietly back out of the room. um, and I think that's a huge part of it. We're not a group of writers sitting down writing. I think we have kind of become more of a family situation, where it's more of a, okay, we're all in this together, this is our goal, this is what we want, this is, you know, we're not looking at each other as competition. It's not a race. It's not, I need to be better than you. I need to compete with you. It's okay. Let's share knowledge. Let's, and I think that's huge because I don't think every critique group is there or has gotten to that point yet, which is huge because, like I say, I've had some really bad experiences in critique groups where it's like, you don't even finish the first meeting and you're already wanting to get out the door kind of idea. And considering where we all are from, I think it's even more impressive when you realize that this entire critique group is quote unquote international. None of us live in the same area. None of us are from the same region. We are, hours and hours drive away from each other. Like, I mean, for me to fly down to you, I would have to get on a plane and fly for probably a good 2 hours to come down to down to Colorado, because I'm in Canada, I'm in Saskatchewan, right? So it's just amazing. It amazes me how we have solidified and become such a cohesive group, knowing that we're from so many different areas and so many different backgrounds and so many different cultures. That's my thought.
That's awesome. How many times have you and Melissa corrected me things like, well, isn't it spelled this way? And you're like, no, dear, that's American. We're in Canada here. And so like y'all are pointing at all these words that I'm like, I'm flagging, is this spelled wrong? Or what does this word mean? And it's awesome.
It's a lot of fun because you're learning it's not mannerisms, but you're learning dialects from different parts of the world. We have a couple of guests today. They're the furballs. You can see them running around. It's actually easier to have them in the room than out of the room. Believe it or not. So I think that's a huge part of it. And I definitely know I've been writing for a long time and I've been published for quite some time. And I have to say, it's kind of amazing when I look at it. I'm looking at it and I'm looking at my situation and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do things, do this or do that. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute. My brain is stuck in Americanisms when it needs to be in, Canadianisms or Britishisms or, so sometimes that can be a bit of a challenge, I find. I had a funny story, total side note here. I had a conversation with a couple of Canadian authors and we were talking about creating corporations for our author businesses because, for liability and all those other lovely perks that you can get with a limited company. And of course, here I am, I'm typing away and I'm like, oh yeah, you do this and do this and do this for an LLC. And they're like, we don't call it LLC. And it's like, light bulb. Oh, right. We call it something else. So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun too, and it's a lot of fun to get to know people that are maybe not your next door neighbors, where you can sit down and not feel judged for what you're writing. And I think that's a big thing too. We have new writers. We have writers that write sweet. We have writers that write clean. We have writers that write erotic. We have writers that write erotica. And there's no shame. There's no judgment. There's none of that. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, you write this. Great. Show me what you got. Bring it on. Let's see what you got, kind of thing.
That is exactly it. Exactly it. It's safe. It's judgment free. Exactly what you said.
Yeah. So any plan now? You've got a couple books on the go. What is your next release date? What's the first book that you're putting out next year?
Of course you had to ask that. I don't know, but I'm sure you'll be telling me, nope, your book is done. It's polished. Put it out. So next month is Januarymo.
Yeah.
I am hosting it, and I think Tracy's going to come and co-host with me in Fiction Writers Group.
Yeah.
So Januarymo, I will be actually working on renders and getting ready to set up a business website.
Yeah.
I I have the business LLC. So I, yes, Americanized stuff. And I'm also a cover designer, and I am designing renders for designers to buy and use commercially.
Yeah.
I hope to publish in March.
Oh,
So by the end of
sweet.
March, I would love to have one of my books ready. But you know me, it's got to be polished. It's
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. It's a never-ending cycle. You know what? You just that just kind of triggered a thought. There's going to be 4 of us in the group that are releasing between the 1st of February and the end of March of 2021.
who else?
Uh,
You, yeah.
yeah, me, Randy, who is
Ooh,
going to be releasing under her pen name Colette Noir, and Melissa, who's releasing under her pen name Melissa Sawyer, and you. So yeah, there's 4 of us.
awesome.
4 of us.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully, Leanna will have her first book or her first full-length novel in her hybrid series ready for publication around that time. I think that would just be absolutely amazing to do a party with all, everybody that's in the group that's doing a launch or release within those timeframes, just to do something big and just go wow, wow our readers. I think that would just be absolutely fantastic. But yeah,
That would be fun. Yeah.
um, so, okay, so we know what you've got. I'm still trying to decide on which book I'm actually going to be releasing. I have 2 that to choose from.
Are
Um,
they the 2 I'm thinking of?
uh, Shadows of Rome is
Uh,
one of them, and the
yes.
other one is the untitled as of yet Cooper's Story, which is I don't even know what genre that one is, because
A
it is
cool book.
contemporary, it is a suspense, it is a thriller, it is a romance, it is a paranormal in that there are ghosts, and it is a menage story.
Hmm.
I don't know what genre to call it.
2 totally different stories too, because in Shadows of Rome, oh my gosh. No spoilers, no spoilers. Because of course I've been critiquing both. So in Shadows of Rome was kind of dark and gritty, and
Yes.
I mean you best prepare. And then in Cooper's it's kind of like on the edge of your seat. You're either cheering or you're screaming, just kill him. But of course, I'm the one screaming, kill him. And you're like, no, this one doesn't get to die. I'm like, oh, come on.
Oh, no, I think it's much more entertaining to see him flying through the air and landing in the cow pies.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, and I'm having so much fun doing these 2, and then of course I have 2 full lengths that have to go through critiques because they have to go to the publisher, and they're in the next. Yeah, they're written under my pen name Elise Wiles, of course. And I'm trying to figure out, if I want to put one of those into the cycle for the next the next little while for critiques after we come back in January, or if I just want to focus on Cooper's Story and Shadows of Rome, get those 2 polished and ready for, and then bring in that one. I have so many projects on the go that I have a calendar on my wall actually that has the dates.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
Okay. I will post pictures. But yeah, I've really been struggling because I have so many projects on the go. I think I actually sat down and counted the number of books that I have either in revisions ready to be released, or that I have gotten the rights back to, and I'm trying to decide if I want to revise them or just release them as they are. And I counted the other day, and I think I have 9 on the go right now. 9.
Well, how do you decide? Because we've been learning, you and me, deep point of view, and we've been working on it, but also it comes to a point of how much deep point of view do we add into our stories? Like with Destiny's Call, I went through and what I did was I did some revisions, getting rid of sequence errors,
Yeah.
um, some of the telling, adding a little more depth, taking away more dialogue tags, adding more action beats. But for things like you've previously published, how do you not go back and revise? Like, okay, for example, I think Leanne from the group has told me, you published it, it's done. Update the cover or whatever and go on. But you and I, we have new knowledge, and that makes it difficult. So, like for you re-releasing, okay, so definitely start with Shadows in Rome and Cooper's Story, and then maybe go into those and adding some depth or whatever. But
Yeah.
how much are you going to do? Like deep edits? Like with Destiny's Call, it's like, I already put it out there. I can't change too much of it because I don't want to change the story. The story needs to stay the way it is.
Yeah.
So I did mild light tweaks to add depth and fix those issues. But so you're revising. How deep are you going to go?
Yeah, well, and that's the question, because I'm currently, I have 9 projects on the go right now, but I am expecting to get 2 more from one of my publishers, because we are actually doing a in-depth revisions and relaunching 2 of my books, including my bestseller, The Master's Mistress. So that's in the works too, and I sat down.
Amazing. Amazing.
The other day, I actually sat down. I was at work and I had it on my phone, and I sat there and I started going through the one book that I got the rights back from Liquid Silver Books after they dissolved. And I was reading through and I'm like, okay, well, I could change this and I can change that and I can change this. And I got to thinking about it, and there are so I think I'm just going to do some light revisions and just change some sequencing, maybe look for some repetition, that sort of thing, because it's been through a professional editor. It's actually been through 2 of them. And it's not a bad story. It's actually a really good story. It's not as deep as what I'm going with my more current work, with Shadow of Rome, with The Hunter's Desire, with Cooper's Story. But I think it fits with what it should. And so I think I'm just gonna do a new cover for it. Just do some light tweaks, nothing major, because in all honesty, I could probably sit down and rewrite the entire book, but that defeats the purpose. This is
Shame. You're not allowed to.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great story, and this one is kind of where I got my feet wet, so to speak, in writing contemporary, because Five Alarm Lust, which I'm actually going to be retitling, but I'm going to be announcing the retitle in the new year, features a character who is the complete opposite of the man who falls in love with her. She is this mousy, quiet introvert, who really doesn't want to be noticed. Like, she's, typical horn-rimmed glasses, the frumpy clothes, because she's gone through a lot, and for her, being a frumpy, old maid with the hair pulled back up into the tight butt, it's safe for her. She's got a little bit of OCD. She's got some issues, justifiable. I mean, this woman has survived having her boyfriend attempt to murder her, having a narcissist for a mother. So she's a survivor. She's stronger than she gives herself credit for.
And I need to read this book.
And so over the course of the book, she really kind of comes into her own, and she really realizes that, she doesn't have to conform to what her mother wants, or, and she finds out that, there's lots going on with her mother that she didn't necessarily know beforehand. And it really has a huge impact, because the guy that she's involved with, she meets him at her mother's 6th wedding. I think it is. I think it's her 6th or 7th. Anyways, he's this, you know, textbook Adonis, Greek god, sculpted, because he's a firefighter, you know, he's got to be in shape. So he works out. But he's also known as ladies' man. He's not a womanizer. He just loves women. It doesn't matter whether you're old, you're young, you're frumpy, you're fat, doesn't matter. He loves women. And so they kind of hit it off at the wedding, and then she kind of runs and she's like, okay, well, that was fun, but I'm just kind of stay away from all that because I don't want to get in that circle. I like my life as it is. And so I don't think I want to change much about that one, because I really feel that she learns how to be herself. She learns who she is throughout the book. And if I'm going in there and I'm changing this and I'm pulling this out, I think it's just going to really impact the whole story as a whole and change her. And I don't think she needs to be changed. I think she's one of these women who is she's empowering in herself through the fact that she's kind of getting to know who she is outside of the expectations of those around her. She doesn't have to worry about any of that. She's just learning herself. And fun fact, this one is set in Canada. I actually have two of these that are set in Canada. There's a Five Alarm Lust and then A Real Good Man, which is the follow-up to the first one. And that one is it's a gay romance. And so I kind of flipped it a little bit. In the first book, the heroine comes from a really kind of a background that's kind of dark and twisted and not necessarily the nicest. And in the second one, I kind of flipped it to this. So one of the heroes is, you know, he's coming out. He's kind of exploring his own sexuality, exploring his relationships, and he's trying to deal with everything that's going on. And he comes from a background where being gay is not accepted. His stepfather really is against it. So I can't see doing too many. I mean, I could rewrite both of these, like I could, but I don't think I need to, because I think we would lose too much of the story. You know, I don't think we need to lose any of the story, because they're already tight, they're already direct, they're already, you know, in your face kind of stories where they really do focus, and they're both kind of edgy. They're not gothic-esque in that sense, but they're both stories where the hurdles are not necessarily just, oh, I can push that out of the way and continue on. It's, okay, no, I have to deal with this. I have to figure out who I am before I can. So I think if I go in and I start changing that, it's just going to kind of ruin the whole story. So I think I'm just going to do new covers, some light, like you did with Destiny Call, just kind of light work on it and then re-release it. And that one, those two will be coming out under Elise Wiles. And I'm going to try for, the first one I'm thinking is going to be February. And then the second one is April. So there'll be a quick release, and then I have a novella that goes with them, and then I have to get the inspiration because I have a third book that I started, and I've gotten one chapter in, and I really need to get inspired to write it because
We'll get you going.
It's not quite as intense as the first two, but it's about a cop who lives in a small town. He's you know, he meets this woman who's just kind of passing through. She's got secrets. She's not bad or anything like that. It's just she kind of doesn't want to. She's running from a bad relationship. She's just trying to get away from all of that. She doesn't want to be involved with anybody because she's just kind of relearning who she is. And so it's a little bit lighter than the first two, but at the same time, it really does show how you can grow and how you can become the person that you're meant to be when you step outside of your comfort zone and allow yourself to grow and to learn and to develop and accept that, yeah, you have flaws, but they don't necessarily mean that's who you are, you know? So again, I just need to get inspired. Yeah. The cats. I got one staring out the window and one that's
Inspired or forced? Um, um,
I think this one, it's gonna be, I just need to, I just need someone behind me that's kind of got the wet noodle saying, no, you just need to write this. You need to get the idea down onto page, because, you know, the old adage, you can always edit something, but you can't edit a blank page, is so true. And I think that we have a couple of ladies in the group that have really struggled with that. I think getting the idea out and onto the page and really going forward and moving forward and not wanting to just to stop because they hit a bit of a road bump or something like that. I know we've got one lady in the group right now who's been struggling with it a little bit. She's been trying to figure out how to write, and she knows nothing of deep point of view. And, you know, she's had editors that say, oh no, this is how you've got to do it. So she's writing to their style rather than her own.
oh no,
Yeah,
that's not how editors are supposed to work.
no, they're
We
supposed
can
to.
help her.
Yeah,
It'll take time.
it will. She's just recently started a new book. Sierra Lake is her name, and she's recently started the next in the Forsaken series. And
Ooh.
I was working with her on the first chapter the other day, and not to give spoilers or anything like that, but wow, you guys are going to be amazed, absolutely amazed. The critiques that we gave her for the anthology, she has taken them and applied them to the first chapter of this book, and just
Oh wow.
wow. I'm so
That's exciting.
it is. And she's done a lot non-writing stuff recently. Like she's moved across the country, and she's got a couple of other things that she's doing, and she's learning some new skills and taking new courses and for the new job and all this other stuff. So for her to sit down and do that, she's on chapter 2. It's the small things in this life, the small things that, but yeah, I'm super stoked. I think 2021 is going to be an absolutely amazing year for the group, and I think that we are all going to see some serious sales and some serious good stuff happening. Yeah, so did you have any thoughts, any direction for our listeners, our viewers, other than check the description box below for buy links for Have a Merry Romantiques Christmas and the revised version of Destiny's Call, and newsletter, Facebook group. How do fans find you?
Oh, Facebook, generally, and Amazon. I'll have more information as we continue on, if that makes sense. Also, I would love to hear feedback from viewers and readers as we go on watching our journey, because reading CR's first draft from her anthology and reading the final day and night, watching her grow in her journey, it's amazing. It is amazing. And I would like to hear feedback from readers, just pointing out the differences that they see, what they like, things like that. Um, Hearing things like that, help me with the phrasing, it reiterates, it reinstates mentally that, yeah, you're on the right track. And as writers, we doubt ourselves so much. Every step of the way, we're doubting. We have our highs and lows like anyone else in any other craft.
Yep.
But to come out and say, well, this is how you started, and now this is where you are. These are the changes I'm seeing. This is what I like.
Yep.
Great. We will keep doing that. We won't change that. We'll grow on that.
Yes.
So that's what I would ask. That would be super helpful. We'd be super grateful.
I agree 100% because I think as individuals, as artists, authors, you know, our goal is to be able to bring forward these stories that we have living in our heads. And the only way that we can do that is if we know that our readers are there and that we can, you know, that they see the, you know, and they're there with us through the journey, because that's a huge part of it. Writing is not a solitary occupation, contrary to popular belief. It really isn't. You can, you know, you can say that it is, but the reality is you do need your fans, you need your followers, you need your readers, you need your critique partners, your beta readers, you need those around you that support you 100%. And we love, I mean, I know that I love getting an email from a fan and saying, hey, look, you know, I love this story, could you do this? Prime example, Hunter's Desire, which came out in July of this year, is a gothic-esque contemporary romantic suspense, where the main characters, you've got one that is, he's not a cop, but at the same time he works in law enforcement, and you've got the other one who's a cop and they're investigating this, and one's a suspect. And you know, it's not your oh, help me here. It's not your straight line from point A to point B. This is what's going to happen. It's not your typical romance. I broke rules.
Love that.
Broke
Love that.
rules, left, right, center. I did it. And so I actually got an email from a fan who had read this book, and they were like, I want more. Give me more, I say. And they had suggested, well, what about if you wrote a story where, you know, the two characters from Hunter's Desire are still living in their house, but now they have a third that comes in, and now all of a sudden there's this whole new dynamic. And I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. So that's where Cooper's story comes in. That's how Cooper's story came to life.
I love the reader. Thank you, person, because it's awesome.
Yeah, and that's really a huge part of it, because that's one of the things that really inspire me to write, is to know that I have people that are reading it, that are loving it, that are fans, that want more. And I think that's huge. I think that's a part of it that people maybe don't realize as we go, you know. And I've talked to a lot of different authors, and there's a lot of different threads on social media about, oh, well, you know, I'm not doing this right, or I'm not doing that right, or what am I doing wrong? Or, and I think that really the biggest part of it is making that connection with your reader. So readers out there, please, 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 please pick up a book, pick up one of our books, buy one of our books, read it, give us feedback. We would love you for it, and we appreciate everyone that does that. Even if it's just a one-liner, I love this story, couldn't put it down. I mean, that's just, it's better than Christmas. And your birthday all rolled into one, because it really does help us to grow, to develop our skills, to give us an avenue of, oh, well, hey, you know, maybe this isn't our strong suit. So what can we do to make it a bit, make our skill a little stronger in that sense? So yeah, so I agree 100%, Caralyn. Readers, please give us feedback. We love to hear from you guys. We love to have some input, your input. We may not always get back to you in a speedy manner, but know that we do appreciate you, and we will respond. You can, by all means, please leave some comments down below, because we will be reading them. If you leave questions, we will be answering them. And we're so excited to get that feedback, to get that interaction with you. It really does make our day. So yeah, so if you haven't grabbed a copy, go out, grab a copy, give us your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you guys. Caralyn's book is A Chance Encounter. Phenomenal book, light, fluffy, a little bit of suspense in there. CEO, Alpha Hero, great stuff. My book is The Elf in the Globe. and it is a fantasy magic story. Each, so, and then of course we have Melissa's book, which is a contemporary Christmas retelling of 12 Days of Christmas. Lan is, her story is Beauty and the Grinch. It is a retelling of two different stories, really. You've got the Beauty and the Beast, you've got the Grinch that stole Christmas, you roll them all together, and that's what you get with Lan's story, The Beauty and the Grinch, which is phenomenal. Colette Noir's book is A Christmas Joyride. And for those who are in the know, the black truck is in the book. The black truck. The banana bread.
Maybe,
No, but the black
maybe
truck.
we'll let you in on the secret down the road. You
Yes.
have to stay tuned.
Yeah, so again, the buy link will be in the description box below. It is available on Amazon in Kindle. It's available on Barnes and Noble, and there is, I believe, 4 or 5 other sites. We will put the description in the description box. Check it out. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining me. Thank you so very much, Caralyn, for coming by, sitting down and chatting with me today, and our viewers.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm so excited. And we will talk to everyone later. If you haven't already, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and please hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any upcoming episodes in the near future. And look for an update very soon. I'm actually hoping to do a bit of a read from the anthology starting next week.
Ooh, I'll be there
So,
watching, listening, stalking.
Stalking is good. Stalking is good. I'm actually going to try and do the first 2 pages of each story, and then over the next coming little bit until Christmas. So that will be super exciting, super fun, and I look forward to having everyone join me then. And hopefully we can get some of the other girls on in the next coming days, so that they can join us as well, and we can all have some fun. And so thank you so very much for joining us today, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.